bowl cut.
When you go checking everything.
Yeah.
Would you please take out your pre-writing for your Faust legend and take out a piece of paper, a blank sheet of paper.
How are you?
Good. I'm a little sick. Throat hurts a little bit. Other than that, mind over matter. That's what my mom always used to say. Even if
Oh, yeah, it was like
103-degree
2 days
temperature,
last week. It was,
just don't think about it.
Tuesday
That's
and
what
Thursday.
I would tell that. Piece of paper and your pre-writing.
For what?
They might talk about
How long?
You don't have any plan, you don't have any.
just make a female character.
At least tell me you have what even? You don't have any. I don't remember my teacher.
Good enough for public school. No, my grandmother saved me.
Grandma's like that. Grandma's usually safe. Okay. So, you should have out on your desk a piece of paper and your pre-writing. Here's the plan today. So, our target, I'm learning to apply elements of a Faustian legend into my own story. Okay? That's what you're getting to. That's what you should be working on. That's what your summative assessment is for Friday. Okay? On Monday and Friday, we worked on the pre-writing. Some of you were able to get started on your story yesterday as well. Some of you haven't even started there. Regardless of where you're at, we are going to be working in peer response groups right off the bat. Okay? So you're going to be giving each other some feedback. You're going to be giving each other some advice on your story so far. Alright? So, at the top of that blank piece of paper that you have, would you please title it Peer Response Group?
You're so good.
Alright, and listen up, let me give you directions for what you're going to do, okay? So you are going to, at your tables or at your little pods here, you are going to be sharing your ideas. Now what you have started, sharing the ideas with your pre-writing, okay? Look up here, you guys. I need all earbuds popped out. I need your cell phones put away, Mr. West. I need everybody's undivided attention. All eyes up here. Your peer response group, first thing you're going to do is figure out where to start and share with the group what aspects of your story you would like feedback about. So you're going to start there, okay? So, that's individually what you're going to do first. You're going to look at the rubric, I'm going to show it to you. You're going to write down 2 or 3 things that you would like your pod to give you feedback on. Maybe your feedback is about your main character. Is there anything that I need to add about it? Maybe your feedback is about the nature of the deal with the devil. Is it interesting? Whatever. Make sure that you are tying your feedback request to the rubric. That's why we're going to look at the rubric here in a second. Okay? Then you are going to read your pre-writing. You're going to tell them what your ideas are. You're just going to read it. Without any comment, they are going to listen. Okay? Once you are done, they are then going to write down thoughts about the story based on the feedback that you requested. That's what your piece of paper is for. Okay? Then you will give feedback orally to the author. So you'll read what you said. Okay? You will attempt to give your feedback using these I statements. Okay? Especially if you feel like there's something that they need to do. Alright? I statements are a much easier way that students can create some action based on what you're saying, rather than you need to do this, right? The I statements here are designed for them to maybe take your advice if they feel like that's going to help, okay? So you need to phrase your feedback especially if you feel like they need to work on some things like this. I felt confused when, finish that, or I wondered why, finish that sentence, or I wanted to know more about, okay? Any praise statements that you want to give, great. But also understand that that's not your purpose. Your purpose is not to pat them on the back and tell them how awesome they are, right? If that's your purpose, then you're nothing more than their hype man. You know what a hype man is, right? Someone that walks by and like, yeah, you got this dog, right? That's not your purpose. Your purpose is not to just give them, if there are things that you like, I want you to feel free to be specific and tell them what you like about it. Don't say things in very generic, general ways like, great job.
Good job.
That's not very useful, right? If you think they did a good job with the character, then say, I love how your character is both scary and funny at the same time. That's a specific thing, okay? Does that make sense? All right, here's your first step though. On that piece of paper, look at your own pre-writing, and on your own, I want you to write down 2 or 3 things you want some feedback on. Before you do that though, I'm going to put on the overhead the rubric. Alright, so here's the rubric. So your comments should be based on what you think, your feedback request should be based on what you think that you would like them to respond to. And remember what the rubric is asking. You've got to have a connection to the story, The Devil and Tom Walker. You've got to have all of those pre-writing organizer details combined into your story. So I want you to write down 2 or 3 things that you want your pod to give you feedback on. Take 5 minutes to do that right now. Look at your pre-writing, figure out what you would like some advice on, what would you like some help on. Because you should be looking at how do I get to that top level. 2 or 3 sentences, what do you want your feedback on?
1, 2. I apologize for the
Remember, this is to help you. This is a pre-writing feedback session. We're going to be in a lab today. When you write your feedback down, make sure that you have specific questions that you would like them to answer for you. Check on the rubric up front. Check with the pre-writing.
Well, that's kind of sad.
Never pre-writing this. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it?
Yeah, I tried to
Yeah, you're
So
writing
this
feedback.
guy,
What do you like? Then
he just graduated from like Yale, he's a smart kid.
then
And
you're-
he goes
It was
to a
okay
big,
until
like
the
to
end.
a business corporation and marketing or something. And then it turns out the devil was like the big like manager, and he's like, yo, if you want to work for me, I have to have you sold. And he's like, I'll think about it, whatever. He calls his wife, his fiance's all mad. And he's like, yeah, go give your soul. I'm a bad person. He's gold digger,
Feedback
yeah.
was.
And she cheats on him, and she's just a bad guy. And then he goes, he steals his soul, and then yeah, that's about it. He gets the money. He's gonna
So
get
go through each of these 6 steps of the pre-writing. Figure out if there's something you'd like some help with there. Go through the rubric. Figure out if you want some help, some advice on how to reach that top level and what that is. You need to have some ideas to give to your groups or how they can give you feedback.
Well, your corporation is Satan backwards. That's funny. That's.
It's all fall.
Dot.
What?
It's not fiction.
Oh, I do a lot of things.
Actually,
that I don't do.
Me too.
Don't do anything insanely that you want to talk about.
They never go long.
What's that? That's okay, we're not, they don't like analyze yawns.
They don't know.
Just ignore that it's even there. It's not even there.
But I said.
All right. Would you please talk in your pods about,
We're in a pod room.
have I tried, I'm gonna do this one again. Whose birthday is the closest to today?
Mine.
Figure that out. Whose birthday is the closest to today?
Well, it's already been asked.
Today is November 15th.
What was I gonna do?
January.
Yeah, I already told you.
Wait, do you need that memorized?
Doesn't matter. Closest to today. Either way.
So really, when you're talking about relatives,
Mine's little.
I have.
Figured out on this good? Who's closest to today? You guys got it figured out? JT, closest to today? Oh. Closest to today? Oh, that's what I said. Close to today? Figured out?
How was it?
Yeah?
You already shared.
Closest to today, you guys figured out? Okay, got it? Alright,
You already shared.
the person whose birthday is closest to today gets to go first. Here's how you are going to go first. You are going to first read to them, and I'll put that back up here. You're going to read to them what feedback, advice you would like. So what did you write down for feedback? Okay? Then you are going to read your pre-writing, okay? Not the whole story. Make connections where necessary if you need to, okay? But just read through that, okay? Understand that everybody in this room realizes this is pre-writing, so the connections are not quite clear yet. They might not make sense yet, but you're just trying to get an idea of what they think about your story idea and how things are connecting together, how it connects to a Faustian legend, okay? So you're going to read that. And they are going to listen without comment, without questioning. Then they are going to write down their thoughts about the story based on the feedback that you requested from them. And then once they're all done, they are going to give you that feedback. They are going to tell you what they put down, okay? So you are writing your responses to each one. There should be 3 people on that same piece of paper. So start with the name of the person who is going first. Write that down so you know who you're giving feedback to. Don't start yet. So, a couple of other things. Do not, when it's your turn to go, don't feel like you need to apologize for anything. Okay, this is pre-writing, alright? So I don't want anybody saying like, sorry guys, I've not really far at this yet. That's not the goal of it. The goal of this is just to get help, okay? Once you're done, and they've given you feedback, even if you're not going to use it, thank them all for their feedback and move on, okay? For those of you giving your feedback, listen. Use your best listening skills. Listen to what the author wants feedback on, okay? Link your comments to specific information from their story. So make sure your feedback is specific, not just general terms like good job, great story, right? Give them praise, give them things that they can work on. But if you're giving them things to work on, phrase it in these I statements, okay? Also, understand your job as feedback givers is not to fix everything. You're just going to focus on some things that you see as areas that might be trouble, okay? Got it? All right, first person, start with your feedback, read through your pre-writing. Everybody else listens and gives you feedback based on what you're asking. Go. What's up, Gracie? No, you're responding on your paper. So like Grace says she wants advice on the Devil's Appearance setting. and meeting with the devil, right? You tell them that. Then you read through this, and as you're reading or when you're done, they're jotting down on their paper things that they can respond to you. Does that make sense? Well, then that means you're all getting the same. So you're doing all your writing on your piece of paper. Okay? Does that make sense, you guys? And so then once you're all done, they're going to read what they wrote down for feedback too. And say, you can write it down, you can just take it into your brain. It doesn't matter. You didn't need to leave yourself room. Okay? Got it? Okay. Who's starting? Okay.
I got goat legs and horn, and so this, I'm putting, is the plot decent?
Have
Yes?
a
No?
better spread.
Yeah. Okay. Should I change, setting?
Say this guy over here.
I am almost done.
Is one of your characters. I don't know why he would be.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. Pause. So I'm walking around and I'm kind of hearing some vague comments. Remember what, this is really important. That piece of paper that you have already written down, this is what I want feedback on, okay? You do not need to write down any of the things that people give you feedback on. You just listen. Once you're done, listen to what they're telling you. The rest of you are writing on that same piece of paper the feedback that you're giving to everybody else, okay? So as Stephen goes through his, and when he's done, you're writing down some things that you might tell him, okay? So there's a little bit of pause between when you finish reading through your pre-writing and when people start to give you feedback. Once you are done, once a person is done and they've given you all their feedback, then go to the person on the right, and then just follow along that route until everybody is gone and given their feedback and gotten something. Got it? Okay? Go ahead.
Okay, so my story about
Okay, so my first
gets later.
They pretty much pick up and like, they're gonna
Setting is a beach in cave, and the devil is
I don't know what you put in forums, but
and the deal they make is he gives their advice on how to get money by conning people out of their own money by selling.
Like main character.
I love the brown mask.
Okay, I think main character.
How are we doing this room?
Where'd
you go?
And then the setting, it's a little, it's not obvious, but
Just keep
where
going.
the devil lives, it's straight.
Okay, so I guess when you
so things that change.
I think it's where like the devil.
How are we doing over here? What's up? Okay. So you guys are listening, giving good feedback based on what's up.
The other dad or blah, blah, kind of thing. I miss Wallace.
What'd you say?
I was like, right? What I was saying first.
I've learned my lesson. Not just, whose turn is it over here?
It's her turn. We're doing her feedback.
Okay, all right.
I would suggest I would bring it to maybe, what are you gonna do with the maybe have them wear a hat or more stuff.
What even?
More stuff, right? Because, you know, down there, red.
Well, that just makes it obvious.
In the
What did I say? Someone said.
Cars and mansions. What? I'm gonna get some more. Okay, we start talking about
What'd you start talking about? Drugs and what?
like how she uses her money.
Are we on Grace? Is Grace?
No, she's telling me to do this for my story.
Oh, okay. You know what, if you're like, good, that's a good change, then go ahead, just thank her for her
Just
feedback
make it a
and move
little bit
on.
like, you know, like, you've been a lot of money into the story, right? Well, there you go.
Right, so you can use that advice,
And girl, what do you think girls
just
will
say
get when
thank you
they're-
for your advice, Grace. But keep going, you guys, we gotta, this is the first person, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta get all through the rest of the two.
Excuse me, my camera.
Good advice?
Okay. Alright, whose turn is it? Your turn. My turn, okay,
What'd they tell you to do?
Okay, my character is evil. Oh wait, it's Hillary Clinton. That's my character, that's her name. She's evil, suspicious,
How about you?
a little bit
What's you?
sassy. The setting. Ooh, get feedback, right up. Okay,
Cool.
what will
JT?
be the setting of my story? It will be, back in time, a couple months, and then.
How they get together in the first place?
Democratic HQ.
Where do you have them?
Presidential election. What will the devil do like in my story? Ghost light, black, power of light.
Right.
We check.
That's a
Yeah.
good, I like this.
This guy was walking.
The-
How is that
Came across
this
about
one. Last one.
the devil
No.
other than like take a rest of time, blah, blah, blah.
And the devil likes
Try to
something
drink
like
it.
that.
Break the
You
last
want
one.
some money? I'll trade your soul for some money. And he's like, oh,
Power
sure.
over the
Last
entire
one.
And what would
You
make
guys went all the way through?
What
So
would
you're
be
all
the
done.
condition of the video?
There you go, there you go.
She'll get arrested. How would the deal affect the main character?
Oh,
She'll get arrested.
yeah.
And her emails will
And
be.
yeah,
And she'll get.
and then she goes out and
Oh, my throat.
she tries to get money
Oh my
too.
gosh.
She
Okay.
wants to make a
How
deal
the
and she
downfall
brings
of
all
the
the
main
dollars
character,
and she dies. She gets
will,
put in a tree.
go to jail. And what will be the cause of justice finding the
He stole more valuable than that. He goes to the wall. The devil. And then in this story, he goes to the devil.
Okay, feedback, come on, let's go.
Do you have like a linear plot?
What do you mean a linear plot?
Like,
How I'm gonna put this in order? No.
yeah. Okay, well,
I haven't figured that out yet.
So my
Oh, we just southern.
questions or advice about how to make this more pronounced
Wait, there's not a chasm with the Grand Canyon.
it's a canyon. It is a canyon.
and what information to read about the characters and the story
Airplane.
and how to bring
Free falling.
focus of the
Bomb, bomb, bomb.
downfall of the character.
If you guys are in a group that's done, start thinking about how you can take that advice, that feedback, and start adjusting. Okay, if you're not done, finish. Good.
At least it's legendary.
Right, yeah, a little bit. Come here.
How we
Okay, so
doing?
there, I'm interested in that, but
I
You what?
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want.
Well, not whatever, within reason. We don't wanna go overboard. I don't wanna have to like, discuss this in front of like the school board.
well, they're not, it's our, like, writing, like, they
That should be your, that should be your line. Like, if I write this, will Mr. Baldus have to go in front of the school board? See if he still has a job.
Yeah.
And everything below that line is okay, but once you get above that line, and I would say like, even if you're approaching that line, I'd appreciate it if it's.
I will say right.
Right.
Right,
Let's stay a little,
it's
let's,
connected somehow,
let's
right?
just give Mr. Baldus a little bit of
No,
like.
this is how much you. Alright, let's do drugs.
Who's your pro friend?
Oh, that's. My bad, Mr. Roberts.
family, wife,
Yeah, I can see that. I'll put
I do that Mr. Roberts.
How's this group doing? Have you guys all gone there? That's okay. Have you guys all gone though?
Okay, so we're saying.
5 years,
Focus.
average home.
Okay, I think we all did. I said dance.
Here, I was talking. Since like 9. I was talking to and I watched it like July after.
You wanna give me like a 20? I got a deal for you. Actually, no. He's gonna go. Let me.
Go to
He's gonna go to. Whoever keeps trying to negotiate.
and tennis.
Getting snowed in. I'm gonna bring you back. No, you didn't.
Double
And so you're gonna be like, hey, you want snowed? Well, I can get you real life. Most of our games. Yes, bro.
Here will be a soul play.
So.
Only seen by Ed Geary. 48 hours.
Yes, bro, it's just like your basically no, not that extreme. You don't want it. We'll get from real life. And but just ask.
Shows go into a
I even said
bag.
get it for electric.
Okay, which was like
Who after the truck.
wife made the deal to get pregnant.
I think we should do the, I think.
Dominic, how's this going along?
Thank you.
How was
Looks like
it?
you're still working on the deal?
Says on a.
Did they give you some advice? No? They did? What'd they say?
Interesting story.
It needs to be appropriate for Mr. Baldus tonight.
So why are we on?
That's what it needs to be appropriate. That's the main thing. So, you gotta keep that in mind. That would be, I'd appreciate that. Yeah. But they gave you some ideas?
I also.
That's all I was thinking.
Working into the
How about you?
You guys,
Flappy golf too.
Interesting. So what did you ask for?
I asked what should I change my
The way he
what
gets.
was the project doing or something, is there anything like that?
What is your plan?
So it's about this guy, he's a very rich, he's like a rich kid. And
Santa Claus.
he's like, he's like, I'm gonna go get a job. You know what, he goes to, not that, but just taking that. This corporation, a huge corporation.
You would think people could figure that out, but they never do.
He's like, can I apply for a job? And you're like, sure, come here. And things there, he's a business guy, he's like, yeah, I'm saying, did he shapeshifts? Satan, goat legs, everything.
I like it.
And he's like, alright, if you want a job, you gotta give me your soul, I'll give you a bunch of money.
Like they.
He goes and they're like, everybody in the office is just like super.
I had my hands when
They're just like,
Chill out.
Dude, it's like, you're like land.
if I can't read, I'm gonna be on you.
But there's one where it's like.
That's the same character.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Trade his for.
Alright, we're cracked.
No, this is us all be. You just walk in there and everybody.
The business is
I feel so lightheaded right now. Oh my god.
I'm on the next one.
Okay, let's finish up.
Your wife made with you.
Alright, how do I play you? How do I play you?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more.
Makes it trade.
Alright, so quickly, jot down some feedback.
Oh, bro, I'm just letting you know right now. Don't cry when I switch you by 100.
Did I spell something?
Yeah, you spell a bunch of words.
The rest of you, so I've got one group still finishing up, and that's fine. The rest of you, here's what I want you to do. Check your feedback list, what you asked for. Think about what your group has orally given you as feedback. In a few minutes, we will be going to a computer lab to work on typing up your stories, okay? So you'll need the free writing. Garrett, it looks like
I don't even know how to threw it at me.
lipstick. Anybody missing their lipstick?
Something we should know.
You spelled this.
Thank you for letting that know. So you guys will be typing. You're going to type up your story, make sure it's 2 to 3 double-spaced pages, okay? So think about that. And you guys ready to give Jack his feedback? Okay, go ahead and give him his feedback. Nobody's missing lipstick.
My sis.
E-money.